Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of B2TEA. This is episode 7, and Melanie's got a really cool mug that she can show off right now. Nice. Good ceramics. I unfortunately don't have a mug on hand because I drank my coffee from a paper cup today, like a plebeian. So the proletariat rise. The first topic that we're going to be discussing is going to be a fascinating one because one of us, and only one of us in this marketing podcast, majored in marketing. 3 of us did not major in marketing. So let's go around real quick. I'll start. I majored in history, and now I work in marketing. Melanie, you?
I got my major in technical communication.
I majored in Arabic language and comparative literature. And for my complet major, I studied post-colonial Spanish.
And I'm a marketing major.
So we've got a real wide range here, and I'm really curious to hear some answers. So the question is, what is the number one skill to learn for a college student that might be studying marketing and looking to get into marketing?
So one thing that I wish I learned, or actually one thing I can say that's a number one skill for marketing students is to have that willingness to learn. Um, Once you're, in a team working in a marketing department, you'll find yourself like wearing a bunch of different hats. And there are definitely things that I recommend learning outside of the curriculum, like striving for certifications, learning about data, data analytics, and like SEO. Um, Thankfully, there's a bunch of free online resources out there on the internet that I recommend checking out. Um, and along with like the willingness to learn is also putting yourself out there, like building your personal brand, um, reaching out, networking. Um, One thing that helped me a lot throughout college is I attended a lot of AMA meetings. I was a part of the American Marketing Association at Cal State Long Beach. And it was a great time. Like coming in, I was a transfer student at Cal State Long Beach, and just being like surrounded by like well-minded, like-minded people kind of gave me like the boost to like further enhance my career. And so being a part of the association, they provided great resources like workshops, with public speaking. There are definitely workshops I attended that are more towards like the technical side, like um, how to pitch an idea, or more on the graphic side. Like there are definitely Adobe workshops campuses provide. Um, and just putting yourself out there and like having that urge to like enhance and broaden your skills is definitely something I recommend for like marketing students. Um, and definitely along with that, seeking internships definitely help. Like putting yourself in the position, learning all these skills, you go working in internships. Fortunately, from my personal experience, the pandemic hit during my senior year of college, so opportunities were cut short, but seeking small businesses or nonprofits, any industries that need help with the upper hand in marketing, definitely helped my career and what landed me in this awesome position as a creative social media intern at Movius. Um, and yeah, it's never too late to learn, honestly. My personal motto is probably, you know, despite graduating college, my willingness and my strive to learn, it's never stopped there.
That's an awesome motto.
Yeah, it's a great motto. It I have a quick like personal question is basically like what was the first like marketing kind of role in any capacity that you had either during or after college? What was the first one?
My first one was definitely at a small business store. So essentially, it was a consignment thrift store, and I was hired to be like a social media manager. I handled all their Instagrams, their Shopify account, and it was a quite interesting position. Um, I was behind the camera, but also like working the floor as well. But since it was like a small boutique shop, it was pretty cool because I got to connect with a lot of the clients and customers that would come by, use that to the best of my ability to streamline that into digital marketing campaigns, as well as, being on the technical side of social things.
And was that while you were in college, or was that right after?
This was during college.
During college. So how did you get connected to them? What was that process like?
Funny story, it was actually, I was just shopping one day and I came across like the boutique and I just asked the manager, like, oh, by the way, are you guys hiring? I'm a marketing student. I would love to take over your social media account and see what happens there. And fast forward, was there for about like almost a year, and I'm still in close connections with the owner, and it's great.
That's really cool. That's a very cool like story of being one, like right place, right time, obviously, but also just like the kind of like ability to just ask and say, hey, here's what I can do for you. Um, and especially like those small style businesses, they don't have the capacity to really even like think about, hey, they might think in theory like, hey, this could be a really valuable thing, but they don't have like the time to go seek someone out necessarily. So that ability to kind of walk and be like, hey, this is something I'm personally interested in, and also here's the skill set that I have, let's put these two together, and I can definitely like provide you value that way. I think that's a really, really cool way to get started in something. And there's tons of small businesses across America, as we know that there's probably plenty of untapped opportunities, especially like, again, as we might have like a little bit of a downturn in job markets and stuff, like the ability to kind of um, be like scrappy like that, I think is a really valuable way for people to get started in their careers. So I'll obviously like I'm going to ask similar questions to all of you, but I'll go real quick. So this actually is my first like official marketing role. I've been here for about 4 years now. I started as an intern. Um, and the way in which it happened for me is I had been a freelance photographer and videographer for 2 years and had built a portfolio. And then when Movius needed somebody to intern and make videos, I was able to say, hey, I've been doing this, for friends, for nonprofits, just like on my own, just kind of like, again, project by project. And I would love to do this for you full time. And then that was kind of like I had a skill, I had something that I could present, like, hey, I can do this, even though I don't have, an official thing on my resume about videography or photography. I have these projects that I can literally show you, here's what I did. And I think that's always really valuable to show somebody in an interview, is not just like, oh, I was the marketing chair, because I was like I think I was the marketing chair for my fraternity or something, right? Like that's great, but also show me what you actually did. Show me what you can do for me right now. Because most often people are hiring to solve a problem and they want that problem solved as quickly as possible. And if you can demonstrate that I can solve this problem, here's how I would do it, that's usually what gets you. Um, that usually is what makes a very good impression in an interview, as somebody who's been on both sides of it. So that has been like, that's how I got into marketing. Is I like taking photos, and then I liked making videos, and then somehow, and now I'm here. But I'm very curious to hear, Jane Marie, this is your first marketing-ish position, correct?
Yep. The way that I got in was actually as a tech writer. My first marketing position was with Melanie as an intern, and basically I had a pretty compelling combination of my master's in finance and pretty extensive knowledge of publications and stuff and writing. So I figured I wanted to do a tech writing position, and I applied to tech writing internships. And this is the one that came up. What about you, Melanie?
This is also my first marketing role. So, one thing I want to highlight is what Sam said about having a good portfolio. I think that no matter when you're looking for any position, but even if you're looking to transfer positions, your existing portfolio is still a tremendous asset and something to definitely invest time in, because people they always want to see those samples. And I definitely had a portfolio of technical writing samples when I applied for my job here. And yes, I was originally looking into a technical writing role, but at the time, marketing decided that they liked what I had to say about my outlook on writing. So because I have a technical communication background, I have been working in plain language, in direct language, in translating technical concepts into something anyone can understand. And when Tara, who was the VP of marketing at the time, heard me talk about my values, the values of technical writing, she thought to herself, actually, that's what we really need in the marketing department. And I agreed that I would join the marketing department on the condition that I still get to manage the help center, which they originally were going to have, a technical writer manage the help center. So that is how I kind of first started forming the hybrid role of the product marketer here at Movius. I don't think that they had originally kind of intended to go that way. But when they realized that what I wanted to do was kind of pair up technical writing and marketing, they decided here that that was something to go with. And then, when I was seeking interns, I was seeking someone to kind of follow that same path, someone that is going to both create content that is informative and instructive, but then also be creative enough to add a marketing touch for creating marketing materials that, our sales and product teams use today.
I remember, Melanie, when you were hired and you said you were taking over the help center that I had started, and I was so happy. And the difference between the help center that I started and created and the one that exists today is kind of crazy. It's about 50 times better, just for everyone out there. Our help center is very, very good. And if you ever use our product, you should also use the help center. Not only are you going to like get your problem solved, you'll also learn a lot. It's just a very, very, very good thing that we've created. So a question I have for you, Melanie, is when Jane Marie was interviewing with you, why Jane Marie? I know that we had a couple decent candidates and Jane Marie was the best of them. So why was she?
I will say that Jane Marie very much impressed me with her interview skills. She asked a lot of really interesting questions during the interview. She showed an interest in our product and in what we were doing. She conveyed an interest in learning the technological tools that we use here. And I felt persuaded that this would be a team member that would jump in, take on, the needs of the style guide and learning what the product does and writing something good and compelling for people. So that's why I picked her. We had a lot of great candidates at the time, and she just stood out to me as someone who would fit our company culture as well. I wanted someone that, with the financial services background, I thought, she'll be able to kind of quickly understand our customer. Because we were promoting our product more to financial services at that time.
Yeah, so a note to any potential people who are out there interviewing for any position really is ask interesting questions in your interview. Like, try to understand as much about them as almost try to understand more about them than they understand about you in some way, because that'll give you clues onto what problems are they actually needing to solve, right? Because there's all sorts of like words that we use in job descriptions that we write that, you know, are maybe a little bit buzzy or something that, you know, then you can like speak to those in those similar buzzwords, or you can figure out, hey, what is actually going to make me effective in this role if I get it, and here's how I can do that. And that usually is what ends up impressing an interviewer. My guess is more than having like all of your ducks in a row in terms of the right buzzwords in some way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in the end, you know, what we're having somebody come in and do is use a tool to produce some content. Everything else is, I don't even know how to put it. Everything else, it can be learned, right? Everything else can be learned. And if you convey that you're willing to do the job and you're interested in the job and you're interested in the company, that's what matters.
Yeah. So one thing I want to say about all that Melanie has taught me, and also about marketing in general, is that there's different divisions of marketing, and there's different ways that you can approach this, right? There are some skills that are common to all marketing people, like trying to put out a content that's attractive. But you can also try to be a marketer because you genuinely like the product and you understand the value proposition of what you're trying to sell. And I think that Melanie was hired in the role that she's in right now because Melanie really does understand the technical aspects of the product. And she doesn't like it, sometimes as you're talking from engineering to marketing, the actual technicalities of the product can like get distilled or warped in some way. And the value proposition that Melanie gives is that she doesn't let that message get warped. Like she's, first of all, if you're a B2B company, you're talking to other people who have, you know, some sort of like technical impetus to some sort of impetus to understand the technical aspects of the product, right? So they're not interested in a snazzy, they are interested in like a snazzy advertisement, but they're also interested in the product, right? So basically, I think that like being able to understand not only the value of the marketing team, but the value of the product that you're selling and who you're selling it to, and all of those things really matters.
Yeah, I can't count the amount of times I feel like Melanie and I have had the conversation where I present some tagline that's like 7 words, and she's like, well, this isn't exactly accurate. And I'm like, but it sounds good.
I'm the well actually of the team, which is everybody's favorite person, you know.
No, it keeps me honest. Obviously, like, because I'm always trying to like kind of distill things into like things that are like very like, oh, this is the essence of it caught in 5 words. That's what I'm always trying to do from my end, which is I'm less product embedded as Melanie is, just in the role that I'm in. And then having that ability for Melanie to come in and be like, hey, yeah, this might sound good, but here's how we can make it more accurate, or here's what you should do to make it more accurate, I think is really invaluable thing, especially as you were saying, Jane Marie, like we're in a more B2B, like it's a more technical customers that we're talking to. We can't get away with kind of, you know, we can't get away with being sloppy, even if it sounds good. So that's the beauty of teamwork, is that we can all have our like little specialties. And I will say, just from my perspective, I don't know how you felt your interview went, Erica, but the one thing that like really impressed me when I was talking to you was like, hey, this is somebody who's built an Instagram from the ground up before, and that was something I was really looking to do. I think I was pretty clear that that was like a key problem I was trying to solve. And there were lots of other talented candidates who were great at producing content or great at, they had managed social media accounts before, but it was the combination of like, oh yeah, I've done this thing and I've done it well, and it's something that I'm interested in. And I was like, yeah, that's the one. This is the person that I want to work with. So bringing it back to the original question, which was what is the number one skill? I feel like what we've come up with as the number one skill is the ability to kind of learn and understand what problems are needing to be solved. Does anyone have an edit or a take on that?
I think that is true of any job ever, not just true of a marketing job, right? I think that if we wanted to amend that to marketing, is understand like who your audience is and whose attention you're trying to get.
So I would say, like, from my perspective, as someone who came in from technical writing, a technical writing program, that probably one of the foundational skills is rhetoric. Rhetoric was actually part of the technical communication program as well. And it's just a basic understanding of the fact that, there are 3 different kind of intellectual drives that you want to target in people when you want to persuade them of something. You got your ethos, and you got your pathos, and you got your logos. And I think that that's important to just kind of, have in the back pocket, that you're targeting a certain part of the mind. And then furthermore, I think the importance of telling stories. I think that that's critical, especially when it comes to hitting those 3 points. You want a clear story, and you want a story that's scannable at different levels, so you want, because you're going to be capturing different levels of attention. So you want a story that conveys, if they look at what you've created for a moment, or if they look at what you've created in depth, right? So I think those would be the 2 skills that I would suggest.
So the activity that we're going to be doing, everyone, is I'm going to say the name of an imaginary, or at least to me it's imaginary, if it exists, great, product. And we are going to try to brainstorm how we would come up with a tagline for it. And the key visual image I'm going to give everyone for what we're trying to do is this is the sort of thing you'd put on a billboard on a highway. So it has to be, short enough for people to read as they're driving by, and interesting enough for them to be like, oh, I should, look at that. So that is the challenge. And the first product is a soda pop drink that has all of your essential vitamins in it for the day.
Delicious and nutritious.
Delicious and nutritious. And then maybe an image of it. So it's oh, that's like a soda that I just want to drink. How, yeah. The key is if somebody then pulls off the next press stop, they're going to be like, oh, I'm looking for this. How do we, because if you put the name vegetable soda, right, no one's going to want that.
Say V soda, and then all of a sudden we're back in the game.
Yeah.
Gotta get your Fizz 8.
I like that.
Are we allowed to do that? Is that a copyright infringement?
That's probably a copyright infringement.
But it's good.
0 sugar, 0 carbs, 100% nutritious, supplemental. Supplemental soda.
Supplemental soda. I like alliteration. Alliteration is always good. So I actually kind of liked the tack that Melanie was on here, where she said V soda, because you see that and you're like, what the hell is that? And then what you can do is then you can put what Erica just said, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 100%, whatever it is, vitamins. And then I feel like that's somebody would be read and be like, oh, that is interesting. Maybe that's something that I'll pull over. Or not pull over, but next time I'm in a gas station looking for a Coke, maybe that's something that I would look at. And then obviously we would have to have some lion's mane mushrooms in there, right, Jam?
Absolutely.
This product needs to exist.
I know. I kind of want it to exist. Because
I
have Athletic Greens powder, and you put it in water, and it has all your daily vegetable needs or whatever.
Wait a minute.
And it's not bad, but
are we reinventing kombucha right now?
We might be reinventing kombucha right now. Right, but then yeah, show of hands real quick, who likes kombucha? Everyone likes kombucha. Dang.
Not every kombucha.
Yeah. But like, hold on. So let's say you like pull up to, I'm gonna pick a fast food joint out of a hat, right? You pull up to a Taco Bell, you go into Taco Bell and you get probably the worst food imaginable. But at the soft drink station, you could get kombucha and it would be like, again, what we're talking about. Who's doing that? I feel like I'm doing that.
Okay, so first of all, I don't appreciate the Taco Bell shade. I like Taco Bell.
Dude, I get Taco Bell all the time. Not all the time. I get Taco Bell an appropriate amount of times.
Yeah. No, I agree. Kombucha would like significantly elevate the Taco Bell experience.
But okay, so technically kombucha doesn't have sugar, right? Wait, does this drink have sugar?
It can.
Okay. So there's like a diet version, maybe.
Maybe. The key point is that it has all of the essential nutrients, like the essential nutrients of like vitamins and stuff. So we can put like some sugar in it if we want to. Though if we think that having no sugar in it is a good selling point, maybe we don't put no sugar in, so we can still use Erica's zero sugar tagline because people do love hearing zero sugar.
Yeah, they do. But at what cost? That's what I always say. If it's stevia, then I'm a little less excited.
Yeah, PSA, aspartame is brain poison. Just PSA about that.
Is that what sweetens Diet Coke?
Yes, it is.
And didn't somebody draft the person who was in charge of Diet Coke?
Yeah, I drafted that.
Yeah. There it is.
Exposing
Good.
hypocrisy.
So the next product that I have, this one's a sort of shout out Erica for finding this one, I think, was the luxury health and wellness toilet pillow. How are we branding that on the highway billboard?
So I have to just comment that toilet related products have had just amazing marketing in the last recent years. I mean, who hasn't heard of the like, well, now I'm having trouble remembering the name of the product, but it's that unicorn farting.
Oh.
Unicorn passing gas, if we need to use that version. And that, oh man, I'm sorry, I gotta look this up, y'all. I'm looking, pull it up, Jamie, as some people would say. Unicorn poo.
Yeah, I don't know if this is an example of good or bad marketing right now because Melanie can't remember what it's called, but she does remember it.
But
right?
now I'm looking up unicorn poo ad, so you got to give it that. No, it was Squatty Potty. Okay, and that was for some reason I didn't actually put those two together.
I would just say comfy, 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 and leave it at that.
Yeah. Do you maybe even put like kind of like an artistic representation of the product next to comfy, comfy, comfy so that people are like, wait a second, what are we talking about? Because I feel like if you just do comfy, comfy, comfy with nothing else, then it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
but if there's like a toilet pillow that's made of clouds.
Yeah. Those any commercial that tries to make their product seem luxurious will have like a woman in a red dress with satin or something. I feel like irony is the best way to go when you're advertising a product like this. And I would love to make a luxurious toilet seat, like.
Well, I think this used to be like if you go into like older houses and stuff and you find like carpeted bathrooms and like, there used to be like a market for this. And now everything in a bathroom is like concrete for like the easy cleaning and the appearance of, like stark cleanliness. So maybe there's like a little bit of like a retro appeal to this. Like there's like a backlash against the sort of like starkness of modern concrete bathrooms that you can come into.
So the other thing that I kind of want to spitball here is the target use case here, which is definitely using your phone on the toilet, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So somehow that has to factor in, I believe.
That's so true. That absolutely is true. But I feel like people would be using their phone either way, you know?
So I think what I want to do is have an almost like sci-fi Matrix kind of idea. Like you're on your phone, you're like traveling space and time. And so in space, you don't have any weight, right? You're weightless, you're free. So
yeah, I'm actually kind of with you here. Hold on. I hate that I'm with you here. Because you could 100% have the billboard be like kind of like a galaxy background, and then you have like mini like little silhouetted figures on their phones, right? Like using this product, like silhouettes, just so it's very clear that somebody on their phone on the toilet, and just like kind of like spread out, like through the galaxy, right? And then, and this is the most amazing part, is that when you somehow have enough money to buy a Super Bowl ad, what you can do is you can just animate that so they're kind of like slowly floating, and then you just license the Tame Impala song, The Less I Know, The Better, and you have that playing in the background. And I think that's the best ad in the Super Bowl.
That definitely would be the best ad in the Super Bowl. Absolutely. You got to own it.
I think you just have to like lean in.
Yeah. Yeah, that ad owns it.
Does everyone here know the Tame Impala song, The Less I Know, The Better?
yes.
Okay, good. I'm just hearing this in my head now. I'm like seeing it.
So I asked ChatGPT what it would do.
Oh, okay.
It's a little bit too long. So let me
Hmm.
say, write it in 6 words. Let's see what Yes! Oh, this is great. 0 gravity bathroom comfort. Mission accomplished.
That's pretty good. Okay, so ChatGPT is definitely taking our jobs.
It's like almost gamifying using the toilet.
It is kind of doing that, isn't it?
I think my tagline would be like, oh, I thought of it, like, good for your gut and good for your back. Because I think it does like support, with also using your phone, you're hunched over in the toilet. So that's
Right.
not good for your posture.
That was pretty good. Because it like taps into Americans' insatiable like desire for optimizing everything about their day, and also optimizing their health in a way that doesn't involve them doing something that feels hard. So I think that that's like a very, very, very good way to like sell to people. All right, everyone, this has been another wonderful episode of B2T. As always, you can subscribe to us here on YouTube or listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or if you're interested in what we do as a company, you can check out Movius.ai to learn all about us. Thanks, everyone.
Are we going to be allowed to publish this?
I don't know. I honestly don't know if we're going to be allowed to publish this. And in fact, I might take this like little 10-second session where I say, I don't know if we're going to be allowed to publish this, and put it at the beginning of the episode. Just so that people are warned.